this is even going even further, because now on top of the migrant ban, them wanting to take all the immigrants out of this country. On top of that, I mean, Trump has also said Trump plans crucial move against transgenders serving in the U.S. military on first day in office. I mean, they said Trump is planning to ban all transgenders from serving in the military and is expected to launch on his first day back in the White House. This order would force almost 15,000 people believed to be transgenders to be kicked out of their posts in the Army. Additionally, Trump is expected to implement a complete prohibition on the transgender individuals joining the military, despite various service branches currently facing recruitment challenges. Transgenders will be medically discharged, which means they will be deemed unfit to serve, the Sunday Times reported, quoting officials. The 78-year-old president in his first tenure declared that U.S. would no longer allow or accept trans people in the military, citing tremendous medical costs and disruption. So
he said that last time when he was president or whatever. He was like, he's like, they shouldn't be there. We shouldn't be paying for their elective surgery. And he's like, you have to be military ready. And he says they're not mentally stable to be in the military, which makes sense because, they say it's a mental illness, basically. Like, if you're born a man, you'd be like, well, I want to be a woman. Like, okay, cool, you can get your surgery, but you were born a man anyways. So I see what he's doing. And for him, it makes sense to him. But he's going to take all their rights away. He's going to take the gay rights away. You're not going to be able to get married anymore. And you know what?
They're gonna take that back to the Supreme Court. It won't be him that takes it away. It's the Supreme Court. But he has 6-3. They got the numbers.
He is the Supreme Court.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it's crazy. He could be like, the Supreme Court's not working for us anymore. I'm gonna get rid of it.
He won't have to. He got 6'3". He's 5'4" all the way down the line, no matter what. Even if Roberts were to go the other way, but Roberts is riding with his team now. Yeah. He's all the way on board. He has to be.
I wonder if the LGBT community blames if they're going to blame the people that were out there trying to force their ideologically beliefs on the rest of the country.
I mean,
do you get what I'm saying? It's
I've been hearing a lot about it, man. Like everybody who I talk to about this election, a lot of them bring up immigrants and a lot of them bring up, do you want your kids, getting surgeries behind your back? You want them to force you to have to let your kid do this? Or do you want to be forced into this type of a lifestyle, which is not enforced into the lifestyle, but forced to accept these things that are going on? And some of it I hear, I'm kind of like, hey, I don't really care if people are transgender. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't have anything to do with me.
As adults, you know what I'm saying? But you're going overboard when a 6-year-old comes up and he's a boy and he's like, I'm a girl. So the parents are like, well, you're a girl then. And then you start giving him surgery and stuff and medicine to change the stuff. Or you're letting drag queens go in front of kids reading books. Or you want to have children in elementary school learn about gay life. Check it out. Hey, check it out. If your lifestyle, this is what, it's going to happen. If your lifestyle where you decide your sexual preference makes it where you can't naturally have children because of your sexual preference, you need to stay away from children. You need to not indoctrinate them.
So are you saying that, this is just me?
No, I'm just saying.
Are you saying that like, it kind of puts them in a situation to where they're almost like sexual predators? It's kind of like it's almost like, are you sorry? I don't think that. I don't think
you shouldn't be telling other people how they should be raising their kids and what their kids should be doing and how their kids should be treated. If your sexual preference makes it where you can't have children because you have no say in this anymore. But now it's like,
so what if a person just doesn't have a kid? Just anyone? Because that's almost like they shouldn't be saying it either.
Yeah, nobody care what they got to say. You ain't got no kids.
I mean,
you ain't got to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
But there are people who work in, like, say they work for they're social workers or there's something else. There's people who work in these fields who are dealing with these issues, though. And so we're saying that a transgender person should not be able to be a social worker for kids or for parents or for, you get what I'm saying? It kind of gets into, I don't look at it that way. I understand where you're coming from when you're saying like they shouldn't be able to tell our kids, we're going to call you a girl's name and they're in school and that's our kid. And you're not even telling us this is what's going on. If a parent agrees with their kid being assigned a girl's name, they should go get their name changed so that a person can call you.
Why are they shoving all this stuff down our throat?
I think that's a big thing. I'm on the side where I won't say just shoving it down our throat, nothing like that. I'd say like it's really being pressed upon us heavily.
Yeah, and they're like, well, everyone needs representation. No, if I go watch a movie, a period piece, I don't need to see a black person in the movie. You want to know why? Because I came to watch the movie about the Middle Ages without the Moors in it. I was watching some cartoon that was on Netflix.
That's a cold lie, what you just said just now, man. Listen, I understand what you're saying too, but what you're saying is a lot of movies have like people LGBTQ, you know.
Right. They were making the Snow White movie recently, and then they showed the Seven Dwarves. One was a black female. One was like a gay Mexican dude. Like they made them all different. Like they're trying to appease everybody, and everyone was like, "What are you doing?" They're all 7 little white dwarves. All right, they're dudes. Make the story original. No, not everybody. Not everybody needs.
Would you have cared had they not had it been 7 different colored people, but none of them were gay?
No, they're all white little dwarves. Okay, Snow White and the 7 dwarves.
So, do you think that everything throughout history that was one color should have been kept that color?
We're gonna put a black person in there, but we're gonna make him gay, and everything. That's always what they do. Look at I was watching this movie on Netflix, right, and it was a kids' cartoon. Mm-hmm. It was animated, right? And they're running from like dinosaurs or something. And the girls stop and they be like, I always wanted to say I loved you. I loved you too. And they start making out. Then they go back to running from dinosaurs and getting shot. I'm like, it made no sense. You had to put that in there.
Yeah. Hey, don't get me wrong. I do feel like Hollywood, has had an agenda for a long time.
Hollywood's a sick place.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I do feel like that. I agree. And I agree that our kids are, that's off limits. But I mean, there are kids who are gay. There are kids who grow up that way, who are already predisposed, whatever you want to call it. They are already that. So
and they're living their lives, minding their business.
But to take their representation away, I think is one thing. But I think another thing is this right here, that people we have a choice. We can choose not to watch. There's things I don't watch because I don't want to see it.
Yeah, no.
That's all it is to it. There's movies I'm like, oh, this is going to happen in this movie over here. I don't like that kind of stuff. I'm not watching it.
And that's and you think, like, when they try to do all that inclusive stuff, it does bomb. Nobody goes to watch it because the people they're trying to include don't care about none of that stuff.
I think that them putting in the children's,
they've been Disney,
when they're starting to put it in the children's movies as heavily as they do, I'm not going to say it should never be in there. There should be types of Disney movies where that's included, but it should not be small children. But what they're doing is indoctrinating these kids, not just with the fact of of being the LGBTQ, not just with that, but just with understanding that this does happen. You know what I mean? Because kids are going to see it. You go out into the world, kids see people who are gay, people who are part of the LGBTQ community. They see that. It's real. I mean, I go outside, you see people like that. Maybe not as much where we live at. We live in a kind of a smaller place because people don't walk around as much. Go to a large city. It's there. Yeah. It's heavily there. I mean, and so it's not like it's not a real thing. Kids see it, and if kids never seen it anywhere, because you got to imagine, a lot of people grow up, all they have is television, or now it's a lot more now with the phones and everything else. Right but there. I mean, some people had never seen things before, and when you first time, you're like, "What is that?" Like you go to a place where there's not a lot of black people.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I thought RuPaul was beautiful.
I don't know what to say about that. I have no clue.
I didn't know
how to even.
I didn't know.
I was just at you, bro.
I was sitting with my family. I was like, "She's so pretty," and they was like, "Hold on, son."
Change your mind real quick.
I was like, "What you mean?"
They do need to stay out of the home with trying to press upon parents what should be done here, what should be done there. You know what I mean? Like I do think that there's people, some parents who have kids who may be, you know what I mean?
So things have gone too far. And a lot of people are I mean, think about it. No one learned from the Bud Light incident.
What is there to learn from the Bud Light incident, though?
They put the trans dude on the Bud Light. Or no, they gave him a Bud Light can. They didn't even give him a commercial. They gave him a can with his face on Bud Light, and Bud Light's profits went down 30%.
I don't think that's a learning experience. I think the experience in that. I think the learning experience in that is people who drink beer don't want to be seen as this right here. I think there's a lot of other things that doesn't relate to.
It's probably more than that.
Bud's like that's like your everyday
Bud Light was the
quote
number
unquote,
one beer.
Average everyday man's or poor man or middle class man's drink. You know what I mean? That's what they go home and drink. That's not something that that class of people are not ready to even accept. A lot of, you know what I mean? They don't want that on their can. You know, their buddies probably laughing. Oh, look at that. What's on your can? You know what I mean? Making fun of them. You drink this beer. You know, you should hear. I hear a lot of stuff, bro. You know what I mean? And so it's just they're not ready for that. That's just the class of people who are not ready for that. But that's not to say that's a universal lesson to learn for everybody, because there's a lot of places that have a class of people who buy their products that wouldn't care. Say an iPhone person, say a person who was transgender, had an iPhone, and they were
30% plunge in core profits in the U.S. during the second quarter. The boycott impacted the brand's value, with estimates of $4 billion reduction in Anheuser-Busch value.
I mean, yeah, but I'm sure it's probably come back.
Sales to U.S. retailers declined by 14%, primarily due to decline in Bud Light volume. Look, you put this person on a can, right?
See, we're talking about beer, though. We're talking about beer. You know what I mean? Like, it's beer, bro. We know that beer is not like, that's not like.
It's bigger than the beer. It's bigger than the beer.
Go ahead, tell me about it.
Think about it. You put this transgender person on the can.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have enough transgender people to buy the beer that you're about to lose in revenue. Now, see, America's divided. If you have Republicans and Democrats, and like McDonald's comes out and say, hey, we're only going to use this kind of barbecue sauce because, we don't want to use this kind of sauce because it comes from niggas. You know what I'm saying? There's enough racist white people to be like, you're damn right. And they're going to eat that McDonald's and cover up the profits. There's not enough trans people that to support you for what you're doing. My bad. I made the world turn.
No, I get no. You're good. You're good.
I'm saying they can't make up the profit loss. So you're trying to appease all these people that aren't spending money with you.
No, and listen, I get what you're saying. I think that they were probably trying to broaden their base at that point in time, and they didn't think they would get such a kickback from the people who are already a part of their base.
Well,
I think beer is a very
grown ass man identifying as a 13-year-old girl.
He wasn't identifying as a 13-year-old girl, man. He's just probably identifying as a woman. I don't know.
No, he was a grown man. You can look him up, that identified as a 13-year-old girl.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to go for it, believe what he's saying because he's serious about it right now. Hey, but all I'm saying is this right here. Beer is a niche that's a niche audience. You know who's going to be drinking beer. You drink beer every day?
No.
Exactly.
I drink tequila.
I don't drink beer either. So there's a class of beer drinker that is not, there's a lot of people who are, so like I said earlier, say the same person was an advertiser, spokesperson for iPhone. You think anyone would care? You think iPhone would lose 30% of its revenue? No, because that class of people who buys iPhones, they don't care. It could be anybody. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
a
period.
phone, bro. This is Bud Light is a cultural thing. When you drink alcohol,
Brother,
you sit there.
Do you know more
it?
people use these phones than drink Budweiser? I guarantee you, iPhone's revenue is way bigger than Budweiser's revenue. I hear what you're saying, but beer is an everyday thing. What I'm saying is the class of people who drink beer are not ready to accept, even though some of them are gay. Even though some are probably closeted gay people,
but
you know what I mean. But they're not ready to say it out loud.
Bud Light is a blue collar drink.
It's enlightened people, and that's messed up to say it like that because it's not fully like, okay, just because you're enlightened, I'm just calling you enlightened because you're willing to accept a person, a grown man acting like identifying as a 13-year-old girl. I don't know his case. That's different. But what I'm saying is that more there's people who are willing to accept gay people, and there's people who are not, or LGBTQ people. And there's people who are not, and that's
people say
beer drinkers are 14%.
Like, we don't mind if you're gay or whatever. They're like, just stop throwing it down our throats.
14% of Budweiser people, the reduction that they had there, were not ready for that.
Yeah, and they lost money, and they tried to backtrack. They fired the guy that did the advertisement because they don't. The people that support that aren't the people that want that aren't. They don't support it. It shows in movies, television.
I just think they overly do it to the point to where. I don't think people just don't support it, but you overly do it to the point to where it's like some of it, okay, I'm willing to, okay, whatever, it's part of it. But then you start going too far with it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think my too far is probably not even like it's just to me, my too far would probably be okay for a lot of other males too at the same time.
What's your too far?
I mean, I don't want to get into it because
No. What's your too far?
Me personally, when they're doing any kind of sex acts,
so how do you know they're gay without them doing a sexual act?
Okay, I ain't talking about kissing. That's different. I don't even want to really see that.
Same thing.
But that's neither here nor there. It's not my. That's not my case, man. That's not for me to say.
That's the only way you can really tell.
But at the same time, that's a normal thing. But when it starts going into other things outside of that, then it's kind of like I don't want to watch it. But that's just me. That has nothing to do with like I'm against you for it because I know it's happening in the world. But I don't want to watch it. Me personally. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so that's just one thing.
I watched two women make out though.
Yeah, because that's what you're okay with that. You know what I mean? You're fine with that. Period. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying overall. Yeah. So there's lines for everybody. But like I said, my lines are not other people's lines. And that's, and I like the world being able to be that way. But at the end of the day, it's going to bear out, and whether you're successful or whether you're unsuccessful. And I don't think it just has to do with whether people are putting this type of stuff in the movies or in whatever else. I think it just has to do with what people are willing to tolerate and what they're not. But but
we're gonna keep you updated on everything that's going on, folks. This is Uncommon Courtesy. See you next time.
Make sure you guys check us out again on Fridays for our Friday Night Fix at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We don't talk politics. We just sit back, kick it, get ready for the weekend, and make sure you also join us for our Sunday Town Halls, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we wrap up the whole week and talk about everything that's gone on this week. We would love for you guys to join in on either one of those two pods that we're doing. Both of those two will be live. So check us out on either on here on YouTube, check us out on Facebook, check us out on Twitch as well. So thank you again. Uncommon Courtesy.
See you next time.